This episode of Inside the Game is powered by MSI Gaming. The game just got real. Head to our website at insidethegame.ca for all the details. What's up, everybody? We are Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. You want to be a part of the show? Then head to insidethegame.ca, where there we highlight one of your clips to end us off. Now we have more news, reviews, and Nate has Rainbow Six Canadian Nationals. But before we get started, let's get going with the Inside Scoop. Gears 5 is out, and now it's hitting huge records, hitting 3 million players in its opening weekend, attracting everybody from around the world and breaking records on Xbox Game Pass. The performance easily doubled the first week's debut of Gears 4 and made Gears 5 the most played Xbox Studios title beginning on Friday, September 6th, which was the exclusive Gears 5 Ultimate Edition and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. On the PC, Gears 5 was nearly tripled the performance of its predecessor, becoming the biggest ever launch of Xbox Game Pass for PC. And if you haven't caught our review of Gears 5, head to insidethegame.ca, where there you can catch up on how we felt about Gears 5 itself.
So Square Enix has announced that the Dragon Quest series is actually going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. And everybody that's excited about this one should be, because the price point on these ones is fantastic. We're looking at $4.99 for the first one, $6.49 for the second one, and $12.49 for the third one. So you know what? Head over to the Nintendo eShop on September 27th and make sure you pick them all up.
So the Final Fantasy VII Remake is in the news again. They've dropped a new trailer, and it's open for pre-order. If you pre-order it now, you get a bonus DLC, you get the soundtrack, and an art book. And if you get it physical, you also get a steel book. And I'm a fan of those. There's a new trailer out. Check this one out now.
Jesse! Barrett!
Where you been?
Tifa! Let's lay down some rubber!
Crank that throttle!
Okay, you got it!
Who's that?
A soldier.
Can't say this is quite what I had in mind when I asked for your help way back when.
So CD Projekt Red has announced that Gwent, the popular Witcher card game, is finally coming to iOS on October 29th. Players can pre-order the game on App Store now to get it on their devices immediately after it releases on the 29th. Gwent on iOS combines the full feature set of the PC version with controls reimagined for the touch interface. Progress and purchases are shared between iOS and PC using your GOG account, so players can easily switch platforms anytime. Additionally, on the most powerful iOS devices, Gwent has built-in 4K textures. So make sure you head over to the App Store and get this one pre-ordered, because it's going to be a blast come October 29th.
The PlayStation 4 exclusive title Neo sold over 2.5 million copies, so I can't be too surprised to see that Neo 2 is on its way. Announced at the Tokyo Game Show earlier this week, Neo 2 is experiencing a beta come November 1st to the 10th, so you can get your hands on it for the PlayStation 4.
俺はトキシロ。お前の名は?
So brand new to Jurassic World Evolution, they are getting a herbivore DLC pack. This will bring 3 new dinosaurs to everybody's island. In addition to this, there's a free update coming out that'll give players access to a sandbox mode where you can just play around with whatever island you choose.
Extracting species profile. Nigersaurus, a large herbivore dinosaur that had a flat vacuum-shaped mouth packed with hundreds of teeth and comically wide jaws.
You remember the Nintendo Wii and all the peripherals we had for that thing? Well, Nintendo's at it once again. The Nintendo Switch is getting the Ring Fit Adventure. It's a giant ring with the controller in the middle, and you're supposed to go up against a dragon. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, to be honest. Nintendo was always looking for ways to surprise people with one-of-a-kind, fresh experiences, says Nick Chavez, Nintendo of America's Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Ring Fit Adventures combines gaming and physical activity in a way that incentivizes people to keep coming back for more, to further both their story and their own fitness goals. you saw it. I showed you. I don't know what else to tell you, but on October 18th, it's $100 if you want one.
So Capcom has announced that they're working on a new game. This one's called Project Resistance, and it's meant to be an asymmetrical kind of online game. That means 4 players versus 1 dungeon master. Now this mastermind gets to plant traps, creatures, all sorts of obstacles in the way of the 4 players. And this one's supposed to be set in the Resident Evil universe, so this could be pretty dark. Now we won't know too much about it until the closed beta, and that's in early October. But until then, check this out. You hear that, Corey? The songs of Skydale? Okay, Corey, this time we checked out Songs of Skydale, and this is a top-down kind of action RPG.
Yeah.
Kind of plays like Zelda. Doesn't really look like Zelda, though. It's a little bit of different graphics, but
Yeah, it's like a cartoony, pixelated style, art style.
yeah, and this one is a large-scale adventure game, and it's actually put together by just one man.
Yeah, and it's, you know what, it's kind of an early look at it, an early build that we got to review, which is always exciting because you kind of get to see, you know, a little more of the raw gameplay, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
this game is definitely finished to a point. Like, I'm not saying this game's, you know, not close to being finished or anything like that.
No, it's certainly
Yeah,
almost complete.
Exactly. There's just, you know, a few things that you may want to change. But again, I'm gonna like focus on the fact that like one person made this game. And hopping in, you wouldn't necessarily think that. You'd think there'd be a team of people behind a game like this. And it's, you know, it's not that it's, you know, overly looks beautiful or anything. It just looks good. It's a solid looking game. And it's just hard, man. I want to talk about this other stuff, but I got to get right to it. It's hard.
It is a hard game.
Difficult to get into.
The only hint I think that this game has that it's developed by one person is maybe the art style, although it's cleaned up and it works for what it is.
Yeah.
The art style throws me back to the old days. It kind of has a Commander Keen kind of.
Oh, you know what? That's
Yeah.
actually the character models look a lot like the character models in
Just
Commander
take
Keen.
yourself back to that time, and this
that's
game
really
totally
what it feels
fits
like
in.
when you're playing, right? Like we're playing on our, new computers, that kind of thing, but we feel like we're playing a game from back then. Mm-hmm. And it's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having
No,
a throwback
definitely
feel
not.
like that, and I think that's obviously what he was going for here when he created this. But it is difficult. Jumping right into this, as soon as you start, there is very little direction as far as where you need to go, what you need to do.
Just some
There's-
slight narrative if you happen to talk to some people. That's
Exactly,
about it.
and you
It's,
can't even talk to everybody, which is okay, because in these games it's usually very dialogue driven. This one doesn't have a ton of it. It's more very objective. It's kind of like, hey, this is what I need. Can you get it for me? Or
Yeah, it's
this is where you need
generally-
to go. Let me know how to get there, kind of thing. It's very straightforward.
pretty light on the dialogue,
Yeah.
but they have, enough to kind of give you quests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I found some of these quests were actually really cool. So there's some people that'll ask for just, the general kind of RPG kind of stuff. I have a family heirloom and I need you to recover
Yeah,
it.
retrieval kind of quests.
I need you to clear out this area or clean up the road between these two cities and that kind of thing. So it wasn't very out of place. The gameplay matched kind of this world that they've developed. Now, the gameplay, you hit on difficulty. It's hard to control in some aspects.
Yes.
So they have the WASD directionals
Yes.
for moving your character around.
Which
and then
is very comfortable. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
that's totally fine. They have spacebar to interact with people and pick up items. And then they have the arrow keys to kind of attack, which is a little weird with the directions, the way
Yeah.
the directional works. It's kind of a little silly. The number pad is all your spells, and I figured that worked out really well.
Yeah, it was a good spot to have those.
But if you're gonna be a melee character, there's a big problem.
There's a block function in this game which becomes very important, especially early on, because
You're
you can't
so
take
squishy.
much damage at all before it's boom, you're dead.
Yeah.
And this block button is the left control. And when you're moving your players around with WASD, reaching that control, I found, was so difficult. I felt like I was trying to dislocate my pinky to try to get it. So I said, okay, well, let's hop into the settings and see if I can change my keybinds. Well, for now in the game, you can't. Or I wasn't able to find it. I went through every menu in this game. There wasn't many.
No.
And I wasn't able to find a way to change that. And for me, I was like, it really made it tough. I just wanted to move it up one to the shift button, and it would have made it a lot more comfortable for me.
That's a definite, yeah.
And even the other control, which would have been just as easy with your thumb, doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
So
it's a little strange there. That's kind of a miss. Now, what that did for me was it kind of directed my character. So this game is really hard in the classical RPG sense, where I think if you put your points into certain skills, you have to center your character around those skills.
Yeah.
You start off so squishy with almost no health and barely any damage. Health is really sparse.
Oh, you can't
and
find it
to kind
anywhere.
of get through, I had to use this holy armor ability and kind of stack my guy with just using that instead of a block.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of play around this weird control difficulty, but that gave me a kind of cool character, and I was enjoying where it was going, and I still kind of ran into some difficulty though, because it's still a hard game.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right, where you are going to build, everybody's going to kind of build a different style character. Everybody's got their own tastes and how they want to, have that player build as the game goes on. So it was nice to see that, because there was a difficult aspect to the game, it actually led you in a particular direction that you kind of ran with and decided that, okay, this is who I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to do it. And there's me over here still fighting spiders and scorpions and trying to block with my shield, and I'm going crazy, man. I was going crazy. But again, I'm not going to dwell on it again. This game is made by one person, and it's difficult. The adventure aspect of the entire game I thought was really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I traveled around as much of the map as I had available to me at the time, and the landscapes there's a lot of variety.
Yeah, it's varied as you go through it. I like the swamp areas, and
Yeah.
I like the kind of mountainous areas, and the different scorpions versus spiders, and kind of some ghosty goblin attacking kind
Yeah.
of enemies. I thought that was varied enough and pretty okay. Now I could see there's this numbers game going on in almost everything, and I think that's a classical RPG
Yeah.
thing, and that's probably what this guy's really going for.
Oh, for sure.
But it leads to some enemies just being really, really strong.
They're like tanks, and
Yeah.
they're no different than you know, it could be this Scorpion's got 150 health. Well, this Scorpion that looks exactly the same, that's in the same pack as it, has 350 health. We're like, well, I can deal with that one, but I can't deal with that one. I don't got enough armor. I can't
and in the
attack.
same pack as it, because you get ambushed all the time in this game.
Yeah, you go from screen to screen and you hop in another screen, there's 8 bees and they're all flying at you. You're like, oh, no, back on that screen. And you try to re-roll the screen to try to get a better enemy spawn. Sometimes they're not there at all, and you get lucky.
Or it's too late and they're already all on you, and that's you can't deal with that.
No, you die very quickly. When you do die in this game, it sends you right back to the main menu. And for me, when that first time it happened, I was like, oh no, did I lose all my stuff? Like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh no, I lost everything. And it brings you back to your last save point, and there's these kind of stones all over the map that you go up to interact, and that becomes your new
how they
save
checkpoint
point.
it, yeah.
And the thing is, on the map, you never know, it doesn't show you like you are here. So you need to know the map. You have to learn the map in this game, and that's really like, there is a very deep aspect into this game, and for one person to create this, it took a lot of time and a lot of effort. So when it comes to making changes to the game, I know it's going to take a little bit of time too. So I'm definitely not knocking off a ton of points.
No,
for the things I ran into, because I mean, I couldn't even know how to make a menu in a game.
And it's early access. There's plenty of time to change these things, and they're just little small tweaks in some aspects.
Yeah, exactly. If we got to score this one, Scott, what are you going to give Songs of Skydale?
So we failed to mention the audio, which actually was a pretty good point for me. So I actually liked the way that kind of RuneScape-esque music
it was good. I turned it down after a while, but I did like it fit with the environment.
Yeah, that led to the whole nostalgia thing, and I liked the way it looked, even though it's a little, dated.
Yeah.
But the gameplay had me coming back, and I really had a good time with this. I want to see these kind of small changes made, and I would really love to give this game a higher score. But for now, I have to give this a 6.5. It's good, but a kind of a mixed bag. You know what? I'm almost right there with you. Like I said, I had a little more of a difficult time playing this one than you did. You kind of figured out a few different things that I didn't, but that's what makes these games fun, right? That's what makes them enjoyable. Again, the audio we didn't really touch on huge, but again, it fits that old school style, and it just everything in that. With the art style and everything, it's great. You like the look, and it's a good package. There's just some things about it that made it difficult for me to really get into it. And I'd like to see some of those control things change as time goes on. And if that happens, I think I get a lot more joy out of this game. Yeah. But I gotta give this one a 5.5.
We thought Songs of Skydale was a great indie game with great potential. It has a few bugs though, which resulted in an abnormally difficult game.
So what's the plan here? What are we doing? Escape?
We're doing the escape mode, yeah. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I don't know how this works at all.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you want to fill me in on that? But I guess we're gonna trial by fire. I like it.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Isn't that how we operate?
Yeah. Is it?
Snatcher.
We got this. We got this.
So we gotta go in, from what I understand, and blow up the hive, and then get out.
Oop.
I think that's how it works. Oh. So snap. Oh man.
That's sick. Okay, looks like we got the blowing up part taken care of.
All's ready.
Alright, now we gotta get out of here. Escape the hive. Alright. So the Snatcher grabs us, takes us back. And now we need to get out of here.
Alright, team. Let's get to that Raven.
You can sneak up on him, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh, that didn't work.
Not even a little bit.
That was not visual.
No.
I just knew I was.
Shut your aim!
Well, don't walk in front of me and I won't shoot you.
I need ammo!
I'm out of ammo already!
Payload's detonating soon.
I have no ammo.
Oh yeah, I'm in trouble too.
Oh my
Take a
goodness.
gun to the drop.
Yeah, I see that.
Bomb's about to blow. Reloading.
What the hell is wrong with
There it is.
Man, oh man.
You're terminated.
You're terminated, she says.
Give me a, yeah, I heard her. Give me a gun. I need something.
Yeah, I got a.
Got it.
Sweet, hammer burst.
You know what? There's one thing I've never been a fan of is how Gears runs.
Oh yeah.
The running mechanic.
Oh,
I've always.
the roadie run.
Oh, I hate it. Heads up.
Eliminated.
Man.
Yeah, like ammo is just scarce.
Yeah. This is rough.
Back to.
Alright, we got 51 seconds to get out of this level, I guess. Would be nice if I had a gun.
Engaging.
Yeah.
Or a gun with ammo.
I keep getting guns.
Forward,
This should
onward
keep
and
me in the
upward.
fight.
Yeah.
Taking fire.
There we go. Is that our way out of here?
All
Or
good.
one of them? Hey, ammo!
ammo for you.
Supplies here.
Grabbing this ammo.
What is that?
What's this? Oh, it's
Perfect.
Incendiary grenade.
grenades.
Flashbang. Yeah. I don't want a flash. What am I want a flash for? Forget that. Doesn't
I
blow
don't know how
anybody
to
up.
open this door. I don't know if it opens even.
I don't want to waste my ammo.
Stand it off.
It doesn't. You go back out here. I bet you we go back out this way. Maybe?
Oh yeah, like, and then go up and around the corner to the right. Hasn't been discovered.
Ah,
yet.
here we go. Aha. Oh, here they come.
On me! On me! Out of ammo!
That's
Really?
it.
Already?
Oh my god! I'm out of ammo.
Incendiary out.
They're burned.
Ow, it hurt.
Ah! I can't shoot back. Man, that's annoying. Are you done rolling around, dude? I kind of need your gun.
God damn it.
Oh, I won't grab his gun.
I got the big guy. Master?
I tried grabbing it, but it wouldn't let me. Freeze. Oh, come on, I was trying to freeze him.
This ammo's mine.
It's more out of necessity.
Yeah, I hear you.
Reloading.
Oh!
I'd expect the same treatment from you.
I got something for you.
Sub-Zero
Sorry.
wins.
That's all.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just picking up ammo and using this. It seemed to work actually pretty well.
Wait,
There we
this
go.
guy's coming in behind us.
Oh, no way. Alright. We have... There you go.
This is safe.
Oh!
Oh, this is the end. We just
All right.
gotta get in here, guys.
I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming.
I'm in.
That's everyone. We're good.
It's like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, kind of, eh?
Activating
Whoa.
drop shoot.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, this is sweet.
Alright,
Decontaminating.
decontamination.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this looks so
I'm still decontaminating here.
Hey, team, need a lift? Raven is inbound.
Good.
We
Copy
need some
that.
ammo. How about
Moving to
that?
extraction
good.
now.
Yeah, I need some supplies.
Stay
I
focused.
just got some.
Grab what you can and get ready
nice
to move out.
amount of ammo, I think.
This'll do.
Can't tell you though, 'cause I can't see my bullets.
Yeah.
Come on. We've got more freaks to crush.
Oh, here we go.
I'm reloading.
My ult's ready. Anybody else got an ultimate? I'm assuming that's what that is in the center.
Contact on me.
Yeah, each character has different ult.
Alright. Oh, nice. There we go. I think I got. Oh.
Clear. And
Taking
it's
this.
still warm.
Yoink.
And it's still warm.
I know.
That's hilarious.
So mine shocks everybody, I think, or shocks the bad guys.
How do you use it? Sorry, I missed that.
When it fills up, then you got the Y, hit Y. And that'll use your ultimate. Mine shocks or electrocutes everyone. It runs at me. I don't know what yours does.
Mine's some kind of like ammo difference, ammo type. Stun bullets or something.
I don't see anybody yet.
I see him in front of me.
Oh,
you can hold left
the
bumper.
left Drew.
What's that?
Oh no, we gotta go
Whoa!
back. Got one a different way.
I got something over here.
Yeah, we'll bail out on these guys real quick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, dude, this is a big guy.
All right.
Let's get the headshot.
No. Oh, I'm down. He's got me. He's got me.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Man, I'm in trouble. I got nothing.
Finished. Help me out.
Oh man, really? Come on.
Got it.
You can only damage that.
Yeah, you got knocked. I got no ammo left. There's a sniper behind us.
Beauty.
Oh, I hit him with the
Nice.
flashbang. The flashbang knocks his stuff off, but I got no ammo.
Fire in the hole.
Stand a chance.
Yeah.
Taking this.
I got nothing left. Oh. Yeah.
Rather not be in your way.
Hey, come
These
here.
guys are all over.
Great. I'll give you that. You.
Tango down.
Chew you back there? Oh shit.
We almost got him. Oh, I ran out of ammo. Nice.
Just that. Oh.
All down.
That was
That
cool.
was intense.
Oh man.
Everybody good? Everybody good?
Yeah. I think so.
Alright, now I got some bolts for the hamburgers at least.
I just got this club. I'm gonna use the club.
Nice.
I feel like that's actually probably one of the best weapons in this. The melee
Yeah, you
weapons.
can right trigger, or you can press B for like different melees.
Taking fire.
Oh, that's
Oh, he got me.
This guy takes a couple of hits.
Oh, man.
Sire.
Got another.
Nice.
Mmm.
I just like how they go squish.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Splat, you're dead.
There's something satisfying about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, we got a couple choices here, boys.
Oh, I got a door right here.
Oh,
we
these
got
are
some
dead end doors. There might be ammo. Oh yeah, there's
Supply
flashbangs and stuff.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, yes.
There's a shock grenade if anybody's stacking those.
Reloading.
What is this?
Nice, I needed some ammo. Oh, it was a low.
Got it.
Oh, 63 seconds.
Can we can share ammo too, right?
Oh,
You guys got company?
I'm not sure. not sure.
Hey, I hit back too. Oh, man. Hey, whoa, who's that guy? Who else? Oh, here he comes. Right here. Oh man, that club is a force. I think it's awesome.
Reloading.
Hey. Ah, it's gone. He broke it. My club's down. Ah. Molter.
On me.
Nice.
Looks like we're clear.
I like that.
Good to go.
Man, it wouldn't matter.
There's a guy up there with
And he's
or
gone.
something. Thank you.
I got him. Oh. I love that thing.
I see the extraction.
Oh, we're almost there.
Reloading.
Oh, who's shooting at me from behind now? Oh, it's too low.
And it's still warm.
Activating dropship.
Oh, it's mine is drop.
Reach.
Oh,
My bad.
I gotta hit this button and close the door.
I'm coming. Oh, you guys are in there. I'm coming. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this guy just goes.
Watch where you're shooting.
All right, there we go.
Everyone, time to finish this. Stay sharp. Kill anything that moves.
Oh.
Reload. Throwing fire.
Target neutralized.
Flashbang out. Flashbang.
Oh man.
Get ammo.
I got like no ammo. Oh, I don't know.
He's knifed everything in a circle.
Suck on that, freaks.
Nice. I've destroyed.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool. 26 kills. Nice job, Corey.
2 hit percentage.
Yeah.
Wow. I had one of those. I had like a marksman rifle for a bit.
No, nice.
Yeah, so it was just popping headshots, man.
That was a cool game mode. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you ripping the guns a little bit. Warmed up. And just unlocking boosts.
Yeah, all kinds, eh?
Yeah.
Kind of tough to keep track of, actually, to be honest. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, not really.
It's just that I got a lot of them.
Which game are we here to review? Blair Witch. That's which.
What the?
This week we're back with Blair Witch, a horror game, and this one's brand new on Game Pass. So we checked it out, and what do you think, Nate?
So I'm kind of indifferent with this game because I struggled with it, honestly. I didn't really enjoy it, but there is a lot of great lore and kind of this like a really cool story hidden within the game, which really kind of makes me, you know, feel indifferent.
Yeah, it's a really kind of a mixed bag because we're expecting this kind of polished, really kind of horror, kind of scary element kind of a game, but what you're left with at the start is kind of just a Lost Woods simulator. So you can run around and in certain areas, it's you and the dog, and you have to kind of use the dog to maneuver through these little kind of Lost Woods sections. And I say it like that because sometimes there's no right way to go. It's a confusing game, as Nate figured out pretty early on.
It is so confusing. So that kind of right off the hop, when it first goes to nighttime, you're walking through the woods, and
it's hard to see anything.
And it's hard to see, and then it's just easy to get lost because I personally think it's just not a very pretty game. It was just basic. Everything kind of looks the same. You know what I mean? Like the trees. When the game is mostly taking place in a forest, you would hope that the forest would look great, but honestly, when you're walking around, it just looked okay.
Yeah, in broad daylight, some sections kind of looked better than others. There's the driving section at the beginning, which I had some frame drop issues at the very start, but then it fixed itself by the end of the game, so that wasn't an issue. But the texture pop-ins were happening to me kind of then as well, where certain things would look better than others until I'd walk up and then it would boop, pop right in. So there's some kind of weirdness happening there, and then as soon as it gets into the woods, you're right about everything being just kind of a camouflage pattern of sticks and twigs, and it gets really disorienting.
It just takes away from it, you know?
Mm-hmm, because you're trying to look for a path to find the right direction to go. You're trying to lead your dog, and your dog's leading you more so, to find all these little objects to advance the plot. And all these kind of objects are really small, and they're kind of like hidden on just like a normal average looking rock. So it's really easy to get really turned around, and there's this one campsite early on in the game, and you can go any direction off of that, and it seems to just send you right back to the campsite again. So that's why I mentioned Lost Woods, and it seems to me like that, because you can just keep going in loops and loops.
And I get that sometimes you want it to be a struggle, but I found this game, they would kind of be like, oh, here's your camcorder, but instead of kind of giving you a little bit more of a tutorial, being like, this is how you use it and this is what you do. It's kind of just gives you a one-sentence explanation, and then you're just left walking through the woods. So that just took away from it. Like, I wanted to get into it, but I was kind of just lost in this boring woods, and it wasn't that scary. No. Honestly, like for a horror game, I didn't really jump or do much. I was kind of like kind of suspenseful. You know, sometimes the music would build up and stuff. But
the sound was really where they nailed it. I'm glad you mentioned the music, because the music comes and goes, and it really sets the tone. But not only that, they have, and I forget the word for it, but they have two microphones next to each other about the width of a human ears, and they simulate that left-right sound. So if you're playing with headphones, as the game recommends, it really translates to this three-dimensional sound space. And that's really important when you're walking around with your dog, because your dog, in the somewhat combat sequences, it directs you where the enemies are, and you can hear the rustling in the bushes. So that's where the fear kind of comes from, and that's where it got me, was the sound. It was all the sound.
It's true.
It was not the visual part to it at all. But that being said, some of the things later on kind of do cross into that more genre-established kind of horror. And there's different sections where the video camera is going to be way more helpful. And it doesn't tell you that nearly at the start of the game. So you have to get through this big, long game to figure out that, oh, okay, now I need the camcorder. Okay, now I use it to follow a path. And then, but that's already, we're in chapter 13. The game's almost over. So it was really weird that it had this tempo shift to the game, because you get bogged down in the forest for so long, and that first night is so long. But then you get to the next section, and it kind of opens up again.
So one of the main focuses on this game is actually the establishment of your character. It's really based on learning about how he's kind of where he's at mentally and where he's at in the forest. You know what I mean? Yeah,
he's not only lost in the woods, but he's lost in a whole lot of history that's happened to this character. And you just kind of get it through these little blips and blurbs through your kind of flashbacks. And your guy has PTSD, and he's dealt with a lot of these things. So you come to realize that this dog is more than just like a tool for him. It really is kind of the center. And they picked off this character to kind of focus the game around. And I think that's where most of the focus went to. They wanted to make this character's story really big and really long. And I don't want to get into spoilers here, but the game itself kind of picks up towards the end, if that helps at all. I think I'm going to have to do another playthrough.
Like they really make you almost have to do a second playthrough.
Yeah,
Because
if
once you're kind of done the first time, you're kind of left with a lot of questions.
I had a lot more questions left over, and there's a lot of these events that you kind of see, and you don't spend too much time on them. So I think they're more fleshed out in later playthroughs, but that's something that I'm going to have to figure out for myself.
Wrapping this up, I personally, like I said earlier, was indifferent. I liked parts of it. The story and the character development is great, but the graphics and like the struggle through some of the tutorials and just the game itself just took it away from me. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, man.
See, I had a little bit more patience. I was able to stick it out, although things kind of fell into path for me a little bit easier than you. I really like where the end game went, and I like the horror elements that they did put in there, and the sound was a huge plus. I have to give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
Blair Witch Project was a bit of a mixed bag. With a bit of a rocky start, wandering through the repetitive, boring look of the forest with unclear tutorials, the game eventually does pick up. The sound of the game is really where it shines, really immersing you into the world at times and making you genuinely scared. The direction they took in the endgame was also a great touch, leaving you wanting more and going through another playthrough for other multiple endings.
I don't like it either.
Bullet! Bullet! Heal!
Alright, so I'm back with Rainbow Six Siege Stage 2 Week 1 Canadian Nationals 2019, and we had quite the intense lineup of games. We covered Stage 1 earlier this year, and Team Canada made its way back into being a contender for the finals that are taking place later this year. And for those of you who don't know, these teams are all competing for a top prize of $10,000. So, returning today, we have Psychopaths Gaming facing off against the also returning Grizzlies. Now, Psychopaths Gaming looked terrific in Stage 1, putting a pretty big imprint on the Canadian Nationals with some insane 2v5, 1v4 scenarios getting turned around in their favor. But with all returning players aside, from Kozak, who is a player from disbanded Honor Team in Stage 1, Psychopaths Gaming has had lots of time to form an even more chemistry, making them more of a threat. The Grizzlies, however, are looking very different this year. With almost a completely new roster, they still looked very strong in Montreal a couple months ago. The team may be fresh, but they are still a force to be reckoned with. So the matchup between the Grizzlies was a bit back and forth by going all the way to 3 games, but ultimately Psychopaths Gaming was on top. In the first match, it was a pretty wild, with almost every round going down to the last second and all the way to 13 rounds. Psychopaths Gaming took in the first match, but were quickly shot down, losing 3-7 in their own choice of map. In the end though, Psychopaths Gaming came out on top, winning the final 3-7. This came as a bit of a shock because this is the first year that the Grizzlies will not be attending the finals. Even with the roster changes, it unfortunately was not enough for them. That to say, they looked incredible, and hopefully within the upcoming months we can see more from their team. The second matchup was between Coast to Coast and Supernova. Coast to Coast is a newer team with some great talent. They don't have as much experience as they are a newer team, and Supernova is a returning team from Stage 1 earlier this year. Supernova has much of the same roster, but with one very key change: the addition of Crusher. The addition of Crusher was a huge impact, and it showed in tonight's matchup. Crusher is a player who is highly recognized in the North American Rainbow Six Esports side of things, and brings a lot of experience and talent. Heading into it, Supernova was put to the test with Coast to Coast winning more rounds than you'd expect from a newer team. It unfortunately was not enough as they lost 7-5, but it was still very impressive. The second match between the two teams bid a less similar fate, with Supernova crushing down 7-3. Now I really hope moving forward that we can see Coast to Coast return in 2020, because overall they were a fantastic team and put up an amazing fight against arguably one of the best teams in Canada. So heading into next week, we'll have some more coverage on some more amazing games. Looking forward to covering it.
Is on a mad rampage. Ember Hammer! The alchemist is headed south to the desert city of Zarafesh. The mighty engineer and his squire are planning to intercept, and will do whatever it takes to unravel his dastardly plans. Ember Hammer!
Hey, are you gonna narrate this the entire time? Because we...
Yup!
Alright, Corey, you and I jumped in over on the Switch playing Torchlight 2. Now, this title just came over to the Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Originally a PC title from 2012, man.
I know, it's a little bit of a throwback, right?
A little bit. How'd you feel jumping in?
Okay, so I got some big emotions about this game. Some good, mostly good, a couple of bad ones. This game is your classic kind of RPG dungeon crawler, top-down kind of dungeon crawler style game.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of the Diablo style of play with World of Warcraft kind of art style.
Okay.
It was a little more cartoony. It wasn't as, Diablo's a little more, I guess, realistic as one of these games could be.
Sure. Yeah,
and it really brought me back. I played World of Warcraft for years and years and years, and that game takes up a lot of time.
Oh, man.
And Torchlight 2 takes up a lot of time as well, because this game is definitely a grind, but man, I enjoyed it so much. It felt so kind of almost just natural to me. Playing this, even playing it on the Switch handheld. I played on the TV as well a couple times.
Yeah.
But I was just all over the house playing this game. Like I couldn't put it down, Drew. I had so much fun.
It is that addiction all of a sudden that kicks in, because every time you slay a monster, there's more loot just dropping.
Oh,
and then there's gold.
There's so much loot.
And then there's more loot, and then there's more gold, and then more loot, and then you get into a dungeon, and then you beat a couple bosses there, and then boom, there's gold everywhere. I'm like, this is just an infinite loot drop of everything.
And you have to manage all that stuff you pick up, because you can only carry so much. You can carry a lot.
You can.
Because it took me a while before I started just picking up items and dropping them automatically, and I was like, all right, I've reached the max. Then I go through and you start clearing out all that old armor and old weapons you don't use anymore, because you're constantly changing.
Oh,
you're constantly changing. Yeah, selling your stuff. Exactly. And you're just. I felt like you're always improving your character. Every time you go up a level, you get a skill point. You're getting skill points for other things, and it's just it's like unlimited. It feels like unlimited upgrading in this game.
That's the best part about a game like this is the fact that you're always accomplishing something.
Yeah.
You're not going in there and grinding and grinding and grinding and coming up empty.
Yeah.
Kind of like Anthem.
Yeah,
right?
You know what? It's fair to say.
And this is a brand new game. This Torchlight 2 is from 2012.
Yeah.
And they got the systems down. Right from then, now we get into newer generations, and some of these companies still can't figure out how to do a loot drop.
I know, I don't get it. It's like this game it's perfect for the Switch platform. I mean, obviously,
I loved it
it was great. It's been great on PC.
Sure.
I think it would be great on console. Like I said, I played it on the big screen too, with the Pro controller, and it feels very natural. The only reason I put it on on the big screen. It's just I wanted to see a little more detail.
Yeah.
I mean, you can zoom right in this game too.
can.
It's not as practical as you want it to be.
No.
But it's cool to see your character's detail because, like I said, you're always picking up different armor, different weapons, so you're always changing.
Yeah.
I like the ability to have gem slots in your weapons and armor, so you pick up certain gems that kind of amplify what your stats are for those particular items. And I mean, like I said, it just reminds me so much like World of Warcraft in that sense, and then Diablo with all the dungeons and all the different types of enemies, because there are so many different types of enemies in this game.
That is great to have this variety that you're not constantly going in, because again, you get these same routine enemies that you're fighting in some of these later games. Like, let's talk about the Division 2. You're talking about, let's go back to Anthem again, because it's always the same thing. You're fighting over and over and over again.
Same things over and over.
Unfortunately, too, it's always felt like there's something new coming at me.
Yeah.
So it was a nice experience that we going in there, worrying about what to upgrade, because there are so many things to upgrade. All my stats that I got to be concerned about, and then manage. It's just manage, and it can be a little cumbersome.
It can,
which is a bit of a problem. But this is that style of game where you got to know that when you get all this loot going at you,
got to start figuring out what you need, what you don't need,
what works, what doesn't,
and how you want to build your player, right? Because I went from kind of having one two-handed weapon for a long time, then I went with a one-handed weapon and a pistol, one-handed weapon and a shield. You know, you're switching between a lot of different things depending on, you know, I might pick up a really good shield and a really good one-handed sword that I'm like, well, I got to get rid of this hammer now and get rid of that. So they're always changing, and there is a lot of things to consider when you're doing that because you get a pet as well.
The pet's cool, man.
The pet is great because you can transform your pet into something else for a period of time to help you in battle. You can, you know, they get certain special tags like your armor, right? So they have abilities that they have. It just like there's everything in this game. It feels, because like I said, maybe just because it's on the Switch, it feels like a small game, but it's huge.
Well, it's because if we're talking about making it bigger, well, it is on the PlayStation 4. It is on the Xbox One, so it's there as well. But to me, we reached out for a Switch code because I thought this would be the perfect platform
and it
for
was.
it, because we're constantly on the go, so we can take it with us wherever we go, whether it's throughout the house while someone else is on the big screen. Or to me, that's just the comfort level. To me, this is where the game shines, is the ability to take it wherever I am with it.
And it's just, that's what makes it so much fun, because there is a lot of variety in this one. So you're in one area, it could be a desert style area, and you're seeing a lot of the same enemies, but you're going into different dungeons all over that area, and you're seeing different enemies in all those dungeons, getting different loot, completing different quests. So it's just, again, it is a grind style game, but anybody that's into these, you know, RPG dungeon crawlers, it's like, I don't know how you're not going to love this game because it's so well polished, so well finished. Like, there's not a whole lot about this game that I dislike, let's just put it that way. There are, like you said, there are things when it comes to the management that, you know, sometimes it feels like it's just maybe a little overwhelming, especially if you're new to this genre. But I think this game is, you know, it helps you along the way enough that if you are new to something like this, it'll allow you to kind of jump in and get used to this and possibly play, you know, RPGs like this that are a little more intense later on, you know what I mean? I think it's a really good kind of start off, but it's just as good for people that are experienced in the genre.
Well, this isn't exactly my genre either. I'm not a Diablo guy, I'm not a WoW guy, I'm not anything like that typically, right? So jump into Torchlight. 2, this is my first kind of hands-on with an RPG like this style, where it's constantly feeding loot and just new drops and constantly attending to my character to customize. And I'm always, man, the minute I got a chest piece, I'm on to the next chest piece, and then I'm upgrading my bow and arrow. And I love the fact that my customized wheel is right on the left-hand side, and it's just a matter of click, 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 boom. All these abilities are just
you're always changing them too.
Oh, you're always moving and swapping.
There's so many different things you can add to your, you know, I guess your ability wheel, we'll call it, right? And it's just, that's what this game, there's so much variety. I never felt like it was getting old. That's why I played it so much. I kept getting to a new area and unlocking something new and completing different quests, and it kept me going the entire time. There wasn't a slow point for me for this. I mean, and you do die, and it can be a pain in the butt, but at the same time, it gives you kind of options, right? You can spend more of your coins to respawn right where you died, or you can spend a little less coins and respawn at the beginning of that area, or you can go back to, you know, a main town, something like that for free. Those are things that I like, and I mean, it's just, I'm not gonna gush about this one anymore, Drew. I think we should just probably score it. If you got to give this one a score, what are you gonna give it?
Torchlight 2 for me hits all the sweet spots for a new guy coming into this kind of genre. So for me, I'm there with the 7.5.
You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit higher than you, but I think, you know, your review, the way, you know, you bring it in, like you said, you're not a beginner, but newer to this genre, and I think a 7.5 is a strong score for a game that's trying to teach you how to play in that genre. And for somebody that's played in it a lot, I loved it. It was fun. I gotta give it a 9.
Cool.
Torchlight 2 is a great RPG dungeon crawler. With endless weapons and armor combinations, you'll find yourself customizing your character to your own playstyle. The environments and enemy varieties give this title a lot of replayability. The boss battles were tough and rewarding as well. The inventory system could feel cumbersome at times organizing all of your loot, but once that's figured out, you're going to have a great time playing this one. Definitely recommended for beginner and advanced players alike.
We also have some exciting news. We are heading to Ubisoft to talk to the Rainbow Six Siege team.
Yeah, man.
So if you're seeing this, you got any questions, send them our way. We will ask them while we're there. We're talking to the game director, and we're talking to the head of Esports, Adam Kleiman himself.
Yeah, I've met him before. Really great dude. You're looking forward
really
to talking
cool
to him now that we've kind of been through the couple of events and seen some things. So no, I'm excited to go just check out like what they got going on.
Yeah, I'm totally green on this one. I'm looking forward to it too. I've never been in a developer place.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. So that'll be coming up next week. So we'll be off road trip.
Yeah.
And that's how this game is kind of going to shape out. Now, we won't know too much about it until we learn more during the open beta. It's a closed beta.
You remember the Nintendo Wii and all the peripherals we had for that thing? Well, Nintendo's at it once again. The Nintendo Switch is getting the Ring Fit Adventure. It's a giant ring with the controller in the middle, and you're supposed to go up against a dragon. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, to be honest. Check this out, I guess. I don't know what to do. I didn't like that. Like
honestly, just use it because it's great. It's like just check it out. I don't know how to describe it without showing it.
Yeah, like it's just.
This is just looking at this makes me laugh because the picture's like a kid just holding this thing to their face. Did you see it?
If you were into Rage 2 half as much as I am, you're going to be excited about this news. There's a new DLC coming out, and I forgot what it's called. Rise of the Ghosts. All right.
You were there. Okay, Corey, there is episode 40 in the books.
Climbing.
Yeah, we're almost there to 100. Halfway. Each and every week, you guys reach out to us at InsideTheGame.ca, where there we highlight one of your clips to end off our show. What do we got this week, Corey?
This week we got Mailbox Arson 88 showcasing some pretty awesome skill in the new NHL 20 game.
Nice, let's check it out.
We got a 1-0 game to this point. The frozen biscuits dropped and we are back underway here. Jostling for the puck and it's knocked away. Brewers got the puck. And that's taken by the defense. Smart defensive play there. And that's just out of reach. Grabs the puck. Moves the puck. Look out, a 2-on-1. Montreal's got the puck along the wall. Slides the puck near the front of the net. He scores!
What an effort to get this game back to level.